Actually, subjects, genders. Oh, it's the box. Streaming, it's time check.
Is it? Right. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, can I be quiet, please? Thank you.
In between.
We are just about to... Thank you, Keith. Right. We start off the evening with the Woodley Memorial Recreation Ground charity. So the agenda, first item on the agenda is the appointment of chairman for this meeting. Do I have any nominees, please? Thank you. Do I have a seconder to that? Thank you, Darren. Are there any more nominations? Can we have a vote then, please? All those in favour, please raise their hands. Thank you.
Okay.
Right, item 2 on the agenda are apologies. Do we have any apologies, Kevin?
Yes, apologies from councillors Lewis and Gilder.
Right, thank you. Declarations of interest. Do we have anyone with wishing to make a declaration of interest? Nope. Thank you. Then we come on to the meeting of the 2nd of December 25, and the agenda item is to note the report of the meeting of the Woodley Memorial Recreation Ground charity, which took place on 2nd of December 25. And the minutes are actually on the back of there. Is any questions at all on those minutes? Is everyone then in favour, please?
Chair.
Right, okay. So those minutes are taken as read. I will sign those minutes at the end of the main council meeting. Item 5 on the agenda is the finance, and it is to note that for the financial period, the 1st of April 24 to 31st 25, the charity registered an income of £11,150 and an expenditure of the same amount, £11,150. And item B is to note that the annual return of the Woodley Memorial Recreation Ground charity was submitted on the 19th of December 2025. That return hasn't been printed off for everyone this evening because it contains quite a few completely blank pages, and to save paper it was deemed not necessary to print that off. But if any councillor wants to see that return, they are more than free to contact the town clerk and he will show them. Right. That's the end of the meeting, so we close the Memorial Recreation Ground charity meeting at 7:54. Okay. Thank you. Can we have order, please? Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this full council meeting of Woodley Town Council, being held on the 10th of February 2026. Woodley Town Council meetings are recorded, with recordings streamed live and stored on the Town Council's YouTube channel. By virtue of attending the meeting, you consent to having your image and audio recorded for this purpose. If you do not wish for your image and audio to be recorded, then please do not stay for the meeting. For those in attendance, we're not expecting a fire drill tonight, so if you hear the fire alarm, please head out of the nearest fire exit and congregate at the fire assembly point by the Oakwood Centre at the front of Woodford Park. Before we actually start the meeting tonight, I would like to offer on behalf of the full council to Councillor Anne Chadwick for your recent loss. But I think you have the sympathy and condolences of everyone in this room.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm getting little words in my ear saying it was 102, wasn't he?
Yes, that's right, he was.
102. He had a good life.
He did, and he was a World War II veteran. Yes. That's right.
Right, well, the first part, the first 30 minutes are applied to the town forum. So do any of the members of the public have a question that they wish to ask of the council? No? Fine. Well, we've had one written question come in from Peter Wheat, which says, "Dear councillors, I'm pleased to see that the council has published and approved its Reading Road allotments plot inspections policy. This is a great leap forward in allotment management, which I commend. In the spirit of open government, will the council commit to publishing the annual running total of red, amber and green lights from its plot inspection process, and a similar figure for when allotments are handed back? In the minutes of the meetings of the Leisure Services Committee, as it currently does with allotment waiting list size." Kevin, would you like to?
So in response to that question, the intention going forward is to include this information in the allotment officer's report to each meeting of the Leisure Services Committee.
Thank you. Right, so we will get on with the agenda. First item on the agenda is apologies.
Thank you. We have apologies from Councillors Lewis and Gilder.
Thank you. The second item on the agenda is declarations of interest. Do we have any declarations of interest from councillors regarding any items on tonight's agenda? No. Thank you. So we come on to the minutes of the council meeting held on the 2nd of December 25, which appear on page 5. Are you happy to accept these, or do you have any questions? Councillor Sodler.
On page 6, item 63, I think it should be entitled Minutes of the Council Meeting held on the 30th of September. Yes, the title of the item.
Yeah. The minutes. Yes.
Sorry, Councillor.
Yeah, 63. Resolved to approve the minutes of the council held on 30th December 25.
Oh, yeah.
And it should be the 24th of June.
Yeah, that's fine. And just to note also, there was a correction in the town council minutes where Councillor Bellow hadn't been recorded as present, so that has been updated in the minutes for the mayor to sign.
Councillor Taylor.
I'm just referring to minute 66.4, which was around the strategy task and finish group. I note from the terms of reference that we were planning to hold the first meeting within 2 months of that December meeting.
I have spoken to Kevin this week about that.
We met on Tuesday to discuss the provisional content of the agenda, and you will have received an email this afternoon asking for availability for dates.
Okay.
We need it after its last 2 weeks, don't we?
Yeah. Do you have any other questions on those minutes? I've got one observation that I'd like to make. Item 69 on the outside bodies. At the last meeting in December, you all very kindly voted for my name to go forward to Balk. I honestly believed that that would be the last I would hear of it, but Balk have phoned me to say you have been nominated, so I'm now just waiting for the invitation to the garden party on the 8th of May. So I thank you all from the bottom of my heart from that. Councillor Jenny Cheng, who is my consult for going out on mayoral functions, would be the natural choice, but she unfortunately has been before, so is excluded from the invitation. As such, I've asked my youngest daughter, to attend with me, and something the men certainly will be used to. Her first questions when I told her were, does that mean you're going to buy me a new dress? But thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Have you been informed formally? I mean, I believe it was the same monarch, because I personally know somebody who's attended 2 garden parties, one with the late Queen and one with the King.
Certainly, I had the Balk chairman phone me up for the last information I wanted, because he wanted to know if I was driving or going by train, in which case the reservations had to be made for disabled and for blue badge holders, and he was quite adamant that the nomination had gone through, and the next thing I would hear would be the invite arriving through the door. So, but thank you all. I shall look forward to that, and I shall report back in due course.
Pictures. With pictures.
With pictures. I certainly hope so. Right. Sorry. Sorry.
You won't want to go.
Yep. Can we take a vote on the minutes? All those in favour of receiving those minutes?
Agreed.
No. All those against?
Against.
All those abstaining? Right. Item 4 on the agenda is the actions and follow-ups. Can you bring us up to date with those, please, Kevin?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just to note the changes on there, the minute 13 relating to Weevil Park, that is now
complete. Now the decision's been made on funding for that project.
now moving forward. And also on minute 67 there, that is now marked as complete, and you'll see that the direct debit mandate
Information is now presented in the format that has been requested, and will continue to be done.
Right. Carol?
Yes, it's on page 11, item 15.4. It was last updated in June to look at covered cycle parking. And I see we've got the pergola installed, but I see no roof over the cycle racks. I wondered if there was an idea of a date, please.
I don't have a date at the moment.
It's still intention at the moment. We do have, we're short-staffed in the amenities team and with the member of staff who's leading that project, but I will update members when that news will come.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments about the follow-ups? Right. Item 5 on the agenda is the finance update. It's simply to note the Council's authorised bank signatories have checked and signed the Council's bank reconciliations up to and including the 31st of December 25. Item 6 are the committee reports. The first one up is the Planning and Community Committee. Could I ask Councillor Soane, please, as chairman of that committee, to present the minutes of the Planning and Community Committee?
Yeah, thank you very much. I present the Planning Community Committee report on pages 13 to page 16 for your approval. Thank you.
Do any councillors have any questions regarding these minutes? Assuming we're happy with these minutes are noted. So can I please ask Councillor Baker, as chairman of the committee, to present the minutes of the Extraordinary Strategy and Resources Committee meeting, which took place on the 16th of December 25, as set out on page 17 of the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This extraordinary meeting was possibly the first of many going forward. Was specifically to discuss in depth the budget and the precept council tax setting. The first piece was just tidying up from the investment subcommittee on page 17, and it's recommended that the updated treasury management strategy for 2026, as set out in Appendix A, approved and presented for full council for adoption. If we could put that to a vote as well.
Yeah. So the recommendation is that the updated Treasury Management Strategy for 26/7, as set out at Appendix A, be approved and presented to full council for adoption. All those in favour, please raise their hands. All those, you getting that? All those against? And all those abstaining?
That's 3 abstentions.
Thank you. That is passed. That was the only recommendation there, wasn't it?
Can I just say a few brief?
Yes, please do.
So, I will say more when I do my use statement, but I just, we will be getting into this in the next report of the SNR meeting. And I just wanted to say, for a long time, I've never had such discussions and debate about something that's really important to our residents. And regardless of what political party you were in, it was clear to me that your concern was the resident, not necessarily a political party. And hopefully we can continue that going forward. So I say thank you to all the members of the SNR committee. I think you can see that there's 3 pages of notes. It was very lively, a lot of contributions, including contributions from Jim as well, even though she is not part of the committee, but that was fine. As chairman, I invited her to do that. So thank you, and I'll say some more later.
All right. So we'll now move on to 6.3, Can I again ask Councillor Soane, please, as chairman of that committee, to read the minutes set out on page 35?
Yeah, gives me pleasure to present the planning and community minutes for the meeting on the 6th of January, and they're on page 35 to page 40.
Does any councillor have any questions regarding those minutes? Then, assuming we are happy with these minutes, are noted. 6.4, can I ask Councillor Smith, as chairman of the Leisure Services Committee, please, to present the minutes of that meeting on the 20th of January 26.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to present the Leisure and Services Committee meeting 20th of January on pages 41 to 44.
Thank you. Do any councillors have any questions regarding those minutes? No. Then, assuming we are happy, we will. These minutes are noted. Strategy of resources. Again, can I ask, please, Councillor Baker, as chairman, to report on the meeting of the 27th of January 26, as set out on page 45.
So they're on 45 through to whenever. There are quite a few items to vote on. I'm suggesting we do them individually rather than your individual board. So the first thing, Mr. Mayor, is that the Council adopts the 2026-27 risk management strategy. I'd appreciate it if you put that to the vote, sir.
Right. So the item is that the Council adopts the 26-27 risk management strategy as set out on page 55. Can I have all those, Councillor Nugra?
Yeah, I have question. It's page 58.
Yep.
Yeah, there is a table evaluation of impact, and in that first column, second line, there is a word public. Injuries to public or staff. Is there any boundary? Is this within Woodley Council?
That would include anybody.
So public or staff. So anybody in any of those services or areas would affect.
Within boundary of Woodley Town.
Within the council services.
Yeah, right. Okay, and then next is adverse national media attention and external intervention. What is external intervention?
That might relate to something like an HSE,
Health and Safety Executive's investigation or something like that, where another body would be required to come and investigate an incident or something.
There are these are crossed like on page 57. So these are excluded objectives.
Yes, so the line through has been removed and
the wording in red has been added in its place to update it.
In these excluded objectives, last two objectives, clear ownership and accountability. Like in new objectives, is there any ownership and accountability?
I mean, it's encapsulated slightly differently in the document, but
it's been taken out because there were quite a lot of points there that weren't terribly clear, but some of that is in other places within the document.
Okay. Right, we'll go again. We're voting that the Council adopts the 26-27 risk management strategy, minute 43 on page 55. Could all those in favour please raise their hands? Okay. All those against?
It's none.
And all those abstentions? Two.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, Keith.
Right, moving on. The next one is the 2026-27 risk register, which is on page 63. The proposal and recommendation that the council adopts this risk register. If you'd like to put it to the vote.
Yes. Second vote that council adopts the 26-27 risk register, minute 43 on page 63. All those in favour? All those against? And those abstaining?
Page 82, which is the Woodley Town 26-27 disaster recovery. Council adopt.
Yeah. Right. The vote is that council adopts the 26-27 disaster recovery plan as shown on page 82. Could all those in favour please raise their hands? All those, no. All right. All those against? And any abstentions? Okay, it's carried.
Councillor Rowland has a hand.
Councillor Rowland.
Can I please go back to item 45 in the SR and our minutes on page 48? I'd like to speak about that, please.
Item. Can you repeat which one you want to go back to, please, Councillor Rowland?
Page 48, item 45.
Page. Oh, the deposits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Press the light.
What was your question about them?
I'd just like to make a comment about them, if I may.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you. Councillor Baker, you've been leader of this council for many years. You and your Tory colleagues have the responsibility for this accounting failure with the damaged deposits that have not been returned to residents who are hiring council facilities for courses and functions over many years. Both the residents of Woodley and maybe other town villages have trusted us enough to hire, for instance, Coronation Hall for a function, maybe for a party or a family celebration. Indeed, I hired it for my birthday party a little while ago. It has been admitted that our records are not good enough to identify the residents to whom the deposits are being held and who they rightfully belong. May I ask why this damage waiver was not kept in a separate account outside the council's own bank accounts? After all, it wasn't our money. The only way hirers can reclaim the money is, as I understand it, to be able to prove that they made a hiring for which they paid a damaged deposit. While I realise that it is the hirer's responsibility to claim the money back after the hiring, we also have a duty to know what every penny in our accounts is. Perhaps a warning to hirers saying that if they did not claim the damage waiver back within 6 months, it would be considered as a donation to the council or to charity. On behalf of the residents, I say, this is not good enough. It is a not good enough public service. It is not right that this council profits from this clearly inadequate service. As that, the leader of the council, Keith Baker, of course, who doesn't even live in Woodley any longer, takes full responsibility and resigns with immediate effect.
You said it was.
So, having already said how everybody's been working together, you have to step out and make a party political statement. Now let me clarify something. Okay. The deposit scheme was inherited 10 years ago by a firm from the previous administration. Who was that previous administration? Who was the leader there? Who was the mayor there? I think it was the Liberal Democrats. You had the same system. We simply inherited. Yes, it is wrong, but it's got to this stage. But you have to share the blame because we inherited what you did. So, and as far as me not living here, if you look at the records, I think you will find I've attended more council meetings than you actually have yourself, and you only live about 10 minutes away. So don't talk to me about not representing the residents, because I am here. You are not. I will not resign. I will be stepping down in 2027 in May. By the way, the only reason why I haven't done it before is I had over 100 residents actually personally message me and on Facebook begging me to continue. And I put residents first, and I will continue to come up to all my meetings. I hope to see you at every one of those until May 27. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to make comment on that? Councillor Narborough.
I just want to ask if maybe it's possible, I didn't hear properly. Did you say in the start of your statement that it was wrong 10 years ago, which you inherited? Yes. I'm not sure you have said this, so I just want to reconfirm.
Yes, it was wrong for the 10, 15 years that her colleagues were in charge, and it was wrong when we have been in charge. What's happened is only recently, courtesy of Councillor Mike over there, raised it because of his background, and it became visible. As soon as it became visible, the officers looked into it to see what they had to do, and they have bent over backwards to try and find the people who made that deposit. It actually gave, on the booking, it actually gave details that you need when a booking's over, you need to claim it back. Many people did. All right? Why they didn't, I don't know, but they have found a lot, but they haven't found everything. Because if you go back 10, 15, 20 years, people are either alive, moved away, etc., etc., etc. And that money is set aside, but it needs to be done. It's got to be used for, for something. It's no different to the government and banks, dormant bank accounts. They keep them alive for a long, long time, but at the end of the day, what they do then is the Chancellor of the Exchequer, I believe, takes those dormant, whatever the money in that dormant bank account is, takes it to them. Yes, it was wrong. At least I admit it. The previous administration are not, right? And we're doing everything in our power to resolve it. They have got a good solution now to do it. Thank you.
Before I take any more questions on this, I'm going to give the Town Clerk the opportunity to say a few words.
Thank you. It's just
A point for clarity, actually. Councillor Kennedy did very helpfully ask some questions on the agenda item that was provided, but just for some clarity, it was our RFO finance manager that identified the issue and also the solution to that.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, we're currently discussing adopting the risk register. I do believe we've gone off on a different tangent. Topic. I think we should.
I will allow June Taylor, because she's had her hand up for some time, but you're the last one.
This is just constructive, right? We made a mistake. It's been picked up. Hats off to Darren for finding it for us. What I would just like to confirm, and I'm sure we all agree with that I think our internal process around this needs to change such that on us to prompt people, pay people back money from their hirings. And we obviously got a process in place at the moment where somebody checks to make sure that the room has been left, in a fit standard. It's just another process step. But I would like to think that as a council, we would rather that be on us to give it back rather than people having to remember. So I'm sure the officers can accommodate that.
That is the process.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Okay. Well, we're going to move on from this and go back to where we should be on the agenda. So we're actually coming up. Did you want to introduce the fourth vote? Yes.
Right, the next bit is to approve the 2026-27 charges at the Oakwood Centre. I'm sure you've seen it before, certainly on the SNR ago, but if you didn't pick it up here, lots of good work, lots of comparative work to make sure we're competitive to other providers of some of these facilities. So, if there are any questions on that, I'd like to put in a vote.
Right, the vote is that the 26/7 charges at the Oakwood Centre be approved. Can I have all those in favour, please raise your hands. Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
All those against?
That's none.
And all those abstaining?
That's one. Thank you.
Right. Item 5, do you want me just to go, or do you want to?
There's a document here, again, you've seen it before, if not, there are copies over here.
Right. So item 5 is the vote is that the 26/7 charges for leisure services be approved. And that's the 26/7 appendix that you've all had. All those in favour, please raise your hands. All those against? And any abstentions? Right. Would you like to say anything on the budget before I go to that? No. Right. Item 6 is that the budget for 26/7 be presented to Council for approval. And that is the budget appendix that accompanied the agenda. So all those in favour, please raise your hands. Thank you. All those against? And all those abstaining?
That's 3 abstentions. I don't know why they bothered to come. Oh, sorry, Councillor Taylor.
Councillor Taylor.
Yes, so it's just a question related to minute 48.5. I mean, obviously we had to make some very difficult decisions around the budget. One thing, actually, I mentioned it to Keith last time we were all together. We've had to cut the Oakwood marketing budget from 5,500 to 3,000. And elsewhere in our papers, we're talking about how we need to increase the number of lettings in the Oakwood Centre. And I just wondered if we could have a report after a few months just to see what the effect, if any, has been on cutting that budget. So when we have to make decisions next time, we've got some data.
Yeah, we can, as part of our leisure services meeting, we can, Ed does a report to reflect the usage and the impact of that. So you can read that report and we can bring it up at that meeting if we need to.
Councillor Baker.
Also, I have asked Kevin to add a permanent item on the agenda for the strategy and resources, which will hopefully provide a list of the bookings for the next 6 months from that time on, and also what income that's come in. It's something we've discussed and debated, and I've had lots of conversations with both Darren and Kevin, that the income from the theatre buried into total Oakwood Centre, and we need to decouple that, especially because of the potential work that Matthew's doing in terms of upgrading technology and possibly some alternative methods of marketing. Thank you.
Right. So we come to the last vote on the minutes, which is a precept level of £1,289,733 for the 26-27 financial year, be presented to Council for approval. So can all those in favour of that precept level please raise their hands?
Thank you.
Okay. Can all those against please raise their hands?
That's none again.
And all those abstaining please raise their hands.
And that's 3 abstentions.
Thank you. Right, move on to 6.6, which is planning and community again. Councillor Soane, perhaps you would...
Sorry, before we leave the S&R, I've got something that's not one of the votes. 48.1. Actually, it's a bit of information as much as anything else. On the discussion on the budget estimates, in our minutes, we've said that Wood is the only council in the whole of Wokingham to provide youth services. And I just want to show you, actually early, Town Council has got a youth club. So they're providing that. And I understand that next year they've upped their budget for youth services. So that's kind of good news.
Can I just respond to that? Thank you for that. It's always difficult for establishing early town council and Wokingham Town Council provide because they don't publish their budgets. You cannot find any record of their budget. This town council should be commended for their transparency, as that's what councillors and the general public want. But it's a relief of mind for other ages, that they do not provide. They don't provide something like this. It's very difficult to see that up in budgets. You've obviously got your information, which is okay, that's fine. But we really think they should also be transparent. That's what
we do have some of our colleagues here actually living early, so perhaps they ought to, as residents, approach them. Sorry, I've got another question on 49, the Anne Cornish Theatre refurb. And I apologise, I have been trying to read round all this theatre stuff. There's loads of material, so I've just got a couple of questions. In that minute, we talk about separating the refurbishment into sort of two sort of discrete projects. One is the technical upgrade, one is the operating model. And I just wanted to understand, do they have a bearing on each other? So is the technical upgrade completely independent of the operating model, or is it possible that one operating model or another will require different technical updates?
It's very I think the basic problem, our technology in here is so out of date. Like the sound desk, I think it's the same sound desk that Woodley Players had in the listening hub behind Coronation Hall. You cannot attract performers if the sound desk is that ancient. No, I think we have to actually light a candle or something.
So basically, actually, it depends on what the operating model is, because we've got those three at the moment under consideration. Some of them may need more modest changes than others, so that just needs to be taken into account. I just need to
if we don't upgrade the technology, then we might
it's the
have to
level
get
of that upgrade that is required. Sorry, the next thing, again, it was just from the experience that we've had talking the last few weeks about budget and what have you. I'm just wondering whether, given the financial experiences that we've had this time round, have we started this consideration of the refurbishment on the understanding is, yeah, we definitely want to do that. Has S&R made that decision already, or is there an option of, well, we won't have a theatre anymore? Has that been considered? an option? I'm not suggesting we do it, I'm just asking.
I can say that it hasn't been formally approved, but the work is being undertaken to provide what the budget needs to be, and then the decision will be made by SNR, and then it will be ratified by full council.
Yes, so there was a report coming back to the next SNR meeting, which was the approval to go ahead and get some more accurate costings for the tech stuff.
And then my final thing is, also given the level of money we'll probably need to spend on this, can we make sure that this is something high up in our consultation with residents and see whether they have an appetite to spend that sort of money? Thank you.
Right, okay. Bill, back to you. Could you present your minutes, please, for the 3rd of February?
Thank you very much. I'd like to present the minutes of the planning community meeting held on the 3rd of February 2026 on page 105, and it was to 111, I believe. Yeah, 11, is it? No, sorry. Well, it goes further on. I'll tell you how far. If you bear with me.
112.
Goes on to 112. No, 111 actually, isn't it?
Yeah, 111.
111. One of those pages.
Do any councillors have any questions regarding these minutes? No. Oh, Councillor Singh.
Yeah, well, my question is actually regarding the 3rd February and planning committee. Mr. Councillor Kat Baker explained about the annual grant, but it's a bit not clear. And then I want to know about that one a bit more, but because it's quite difference between the grant requested and grant allocated and whatever is there. Please.
Thank you. To explain, we have on the table at an SNR meeting a request from Leisure Services to increase youth budget by £10,000. We had a request from Planning and Communities for a grant budget of 32,500. Basically, we couldn't do both. We couldn't increase the youth budget by that 10,000, and we did at 32,500. So after extensive debate, it was unanimously of all the people present, party political, unanimously decided that the youth budget should have the priority. The reasons behind that, one of the main reasons was the 4 youth organisations that budget is being spent on is only just starting. So we don't know whether it's going to work and satisfy our needs as far as the youth strategy is concerned, because it's too early days. So it's decided, again, that we would balance it by saying yes to the 40,000 for the youth budget, but when sent it back, the planning committee for the grant, back to remove 10,000. So I took the grant pocket, if you cast the reuse investment as a grant, because that's in essence what it is, remains the same. Okay? Councillor Brad did a very good job. I was there virtually, planning committee, community committee, even though I'm not a member of it. I was there, and Councillor Bragg gave the planning committee a couple of options. And simplistically, they were, let's just top slice all the grants to make up that 10,000. The other alternative was taking the big one, which was one of the transport companies, Redibus, that was getting £9,000, which was far more than anybody else had received, and they've been getting £9,000 for a long, long time. And they presented some data about they're actually a profit-making company. They made, there's about 30,000 or something.
The estimate for this year, that they're applying for the grant, was 14, I'm talking from memory, I haven't got the figures in front of me, but £14,750, as against the 15,000 grant they had applied for from us. So the argument was that if we took away that 15,000 budget, that grant for this year, and I stress for this year only, subject to the review again next year, Redibus would not be in any difficulty. They would still be in a profit situation. They still have significant reserves. That's the reason.
Yeah. Then come back. What that meant, the planning committee decided to go that second route. What that meant was all the remaining organisations that were asked for grants and were amounts were agreed, apart from one, received exactly what the Planning and Community Committee asked for. So it's sort of like satisfying 9 requests and hitting one, a big profit-making company that you could argue shouldn't be applying for grants anyway, right? And the other one was the Carnival, and we have inside information of the Carnival Committee about what they have in reserves, and so it went down by £1,000. Now, hopefully, roll forward 12 months, we'll be able to get back up to the levels that we would all love. But at the end of the day, we must remember, this is not our money. The money is, we can't turn a tap and say, we want another 10,000 from you. No, that's 1%. Over 1% council tax. And we just want to give it to all these, So hopefully, particularly with the strategy, I'm laying a lot of strength on the output of the task force that some of these people here will be on. We'll be able to bring it back. I hope that does answer your question.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Ketmaker. But my question is, the reason is why, because I have seen from the last couple of years when we came, I joined as a local town councillor, because I have seen there's a but fluctuation. If we see, you are seeing the Redibus is going to 0 now, and other as well, because it means we haven't worked before the councillors or the committee. We haven't worked properly on the from last couple of years. Why there is a big difference between that? Because we put budget before is a 53,600 or something, or
if I can answer that partly, if you look at the grants that were agreed, do we give a grant to a profit-making company, or do we give the money to those charities that need the money, such as the lunch brunch, such as the volunteer centre, such as the Parenting Special Children? They're just 3 that I've picked up. Councillor Kennedy, you first.
Yes, Chairman. I'm rather concerned that the grant requests submitted on page 107 are not actually examining all the detail. I've just asked the Chairman of Planning and Community Resources, does the committee receive a financial statement, a balance sheet, so that we can ascertain
each application comes with full details attached as to the amount of staff they have, how many are paid staff, how many are volunteers, how much money is spent on staffing costs, and administration, how much how are they going to use the money that is given to them by the grant? All that is in a hefty documentation. And companies such as Keep Mobile and Redibus are asked to produce company accounts to accompany their applications as well. So they fill in, how many pages on those grant forms? 8, 10? A lot of it is written material as to what they need to spend that money on, but the larger part of it is financial on how they're spending the money, where it's going, and what they plan to do with it.
Mr. Mayor, do they set out in their application other organisations so that they have applied and grants they received?
Yes.
There's one particular organisation on here that I know full well. They get an awful lot of grants from other organisations. And I just wondered whether, we ought to be more critically examining these.
That was another reason behind behind Redibus. They've actually had £65,000 from Wokingham Borough this year. Yes, that is all looked at when we come to consideration of the grant.
Yeah, well,
Mr. Chair, I'm happy to circulate the grant guidelines for members' information if that's helpful.
Councillor Smith.
Very quickly, Councillor Kennedy, they are all confidential. So, our classical yellow sheet, all that data is obviously confidential because it's revealing a lot of their internal workings, etc. And when I be on the planning committee for grants, I certainly had those sheets to review. It's quite wealthy to, it's a bit of a tune. I'm assuming, that the planning committee still gets that detail. And if they do, then it's beholden on the members of the planning committee to read it. If they don't, the points you're making are great. Maybe you ought to do a single page guide on how, because of your background, because you've got the most background of this sort of operation, apart from officers. Anyone here, say, these are the trigger marks, these are the things, because most councillors on the planning committee probably don't even know what a balance sheet is, how these things work. And they need guidance from somebody experienced like yourself.
Councillor Smith.
Jumping down a bit of a rabbit hole here, actually, to be honest with you. I don't think we're addressing Pravinder's question more directly. And I'd like to try and clarify that. For example, the grants, that's well documented within the council's procedures and the minutes that are distributed should any councillor care to read them. So I think it's important that we strike there first rather than bringing that to full council for a detailed discussion where actually we're here to make decisions, not here to have detailed discussions about things like that. I think secondly, as far as the budget was concerned, there was a very difficult decision. This year particularly, we've experienced very high costs, not just through the new national insurance contributions that we've now got to make under this new Labour government, but also there have been huge increases in energy, electricity and gas costs. And those have unexpectedly, to some extent, impacted us in our planning for this year. And that's why we've had to make some tough decisions around what do we prefer to give our money to. So do we give it to youth to expand our youth programme, support vulnerable children and young adults in Woodley, or do we fund a well-funded organisation like Redibus, for example? So that due diligence was undertaken since December time, and those are the decisions that we have had to unfortunately make. As Councillor Baker did reiterate, when we do our next budget for 26-27, then we might actually, revert back once we've got a clearer budget situation and those costs have been more experienced. So that's those are some of the very high level things, but those details were discussed at that committee. You were on that committee and you did attend it actually. So that was the time that that's a good time to ask those questions, but hopefully that clarifies for you the decision we had to make. Is that okay?
Most of the meetings I attend, the planning committees, and because especially the last committee, Mr. Kit Becker, he came on, and that day the decision was the committee's decision. Okay, we will discuss finalize on today's on the full council meeting, I believe. I think they are going to more explanation about this, because why I'm worrying about this one, because it's not making sense why the budget is too much is fluctuation, because the people's taxpayers' money. So why we need to know before committee needs to decide, and they need to explain to the local residents why they are paying this one grants when they're giving the grants to these all our youth, either it's the youth or citizen advice bureau or whatever, wherever we are giving money. So at least they need to residents needs to know money going to the right.
And I think that's the attend resources.
Look,
that was
Councillor Singh, sorry, I'm going to bring this to an end. You were present, Councillor Singh, at that meeting, and from memory, it was a unanimous vote when we asked for votes on the budget. So to bring those things up now, points taken, but we did spend a lot of time, energy on working through those grants. Councillor Soane.
Can I just make one point? One thing we did discuss and needs to be discussed when we're looking at grants to any organisation is what percentage of the Woodley population benefit from the recipients of these grants, and also what percentage of these grants made by other councils and how many residents of theirs actually benefit from it. We may be paying a vast sum of money to support early residents, for example. We don't know, but it would be nice to know what percentage of our population actually benefit from them and what percentage of the money we're paying.
Anyway, do we have any more questions on the planning? No? Right, then assuming we're happy with these, we're going to move on to item 7 on the agenda, which is to note the current direct debit mandates in place for the council, which have been duly signed by authorised signatories. They're all there, but does anyone have any questions regarding those direct debits? No. Okay. Then we move on to item 8, which is to receive a statement from the Leader of the Council, Councillor Baker. Would you like to provide a statement to members? Keith, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, can I apologise for the length of my statement, which is the setting of our town council tax for 26-27. But I believe it is important for all councillors to understand what has been going on. As I stand here, we have all been faced with probably the most significant financial stress this council has experienced for an extremely long time. On behalf of all of us, can I thank officers for the extensive work to provide data as to what has got us here. This is in addition to maximising income and minimising expenditure without reducing services. Councillors were faced with difficult financial decisions, and the information provided by the officers was essential. The final decisions were all unanimously agreed by all present at the respective meetings. To each and every one of those councillors, can I say a very big thank you for your full participation in those discussions. 40 years ago, the Conservatives became the administration, which has continued since then. Over that period, town council tax was only ever increased 4 times, meaning a reduction was 0 increased 10 times, including a reduction towards 0 for the last 4 consecutive years. In that same period, Workingham Town Council has increased their town council tax every single year. And Leeds Town Council has increased theirs 12 times. However, over the last few years, the price of utilities has increased exponentially, which is at the core of this financial pressure. You can argue that the other 2 councils will be experiencing the same pressure. There is a major difference between us and them. Utility costs relate to buildings, and Woodley has many more buildings and facilities than either of the other 2 councils. So it follows that each financial impact of growing financial costs will be higher on Woodley than the other 2 councils. So what are these increases? Over the last 2 years, electricity has gone up 41%. That's an increase of 20,700. Gas has gone up 18%, an increase of 6,100. Here's a big one, water, up over the last 2 years, 95%, nearly double, an increase of £48,100. And let's not forget national insurance. Those costs have gone up 56%, an increase of 43,400. Add all those things together, and that's a total of £118,300 additional cost. This will effectively stand still. To put that into perspective, that is equivalent to an increase in the town council tax or precept of 10.6%, just to stand still. And note, that also doesn't cater for things like staff pay increases or inflation. So any of the council tax increase should be even higher. As I said earlier, officers have worked extremely hard to produce a balanced budget to cater for these increases. And the others not mentioned here. By 1, increasing income, 2, reducing expenditure, and 3, utilising some of the general reserves. So, tonight we have agreed to increase the town council tax to £117.09 for a Band D equivalent property. That is 87p per month. Not much. If you look back at 2013-14, when we took over 14 years ago, you're actually asking residents to pay 20p a month more than in 2013-14. Just 20p. To put that in context, comparing with our working on early town councils in the same period, they've increased their tax £2.49 and £2.26 per month, respectively. I still believe that it's still extremely good money when you see what this town council provides its residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Baker. Right, item 9 on the agenda is simply to note that the annual return of the Woodley Memorial Recreation Ground charity was submitted on the 19th of December 2025. Item 10 is to receive the reports from Town Council representatives on outside bodies as set out in Appendix 10 on page 113 of the agenda. Do we have any questions regarding these? Any additional verbal? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my annual mow, I'm afraid. So, the Cardiff Club staff sent out one of us appointed representatives on outside bodies before the meeting asking us to send in a report. 16 people, 16 bodies asked, and 4 of us sent reports in. You all read mine. The point is this, just send them your return in. It's good manners. I think it's really poor that we're asked to do this report and we can't even be bothered to send one back saying nil return. We haven't had any meeting. I hope you've read mine. I've asked councillors please for ideas, suggestions on how the Friends of Woodford Park can expand their role and engagement with some more volunteers. I hope you can all put your thinking caps on, come on. I liaise with David, who's sort of in charge of Friends of Woodford Park, pretty much on a bi-monthly basis. We message each other, given the part-time end of the fall, I still manage to communicate with my constituents in Woodley. So please bear in mind, I think it's good manners. Please reply, even if it's just nil return, put a few words down, because the officers do a lot of work for us. I think it's just nice that we reply to them. God, I waffle so much. Thank you.
Councillor Smith. I'll be back to you.
Just to note that the Sonny Educational and Welfare Trust will be meeting on the 25th of March, and I'll be attending that meeting as usual. I've only been a couple of times a year, which is why I did not return. I did make a return because we haven't met since the last time I did a return some months ago. So, but to know if that can be recorded. Thank you.
Right, Councillor Holmes.
The Highwood Management Conference hasn't met since the summer. Forsland Charity, our valued chairman Sheila Flower has resigned from the charity. She's a town council rep on personal grounds. So we do not have a chairman at the moment. The work of the Forsland Charities continued with interviews for a vacant flat, and one person has been offered it, with another person in line for the next vacancy. So we're not interviewing for new ones for a while. Wi-Fi has now been installed in the committee room for the specific use of trustees, who will now be given our own email addresses as trustees, special emails. Thank you.
Can I ask Chris, have they done their website yet?
No, this is all part of it to get the Wi-Fi in.
But they haven't launched the website yet?
No.
Yeah. I myself was unfortunately down with the norovirus at the time of the last meeting with the Robert Palmer almshouses, so I unfortunately have nothing to report on that.
She does, Bill.
But I agree wholeheartedly with what Councillor Hawkins says. If we're on an outside body, we should put in a return, even if it's nil. Councillor Anderson.
Could I suggest that this is a misleading chart? So it might be worth putting in another column, because if people only meet twice a year, there's no point putting this out very frequently, because it looks like people can't be bothered and actually they have met. So I think probably either an additional column of when they have met, or we just don't put all of those on if they haven't met. Just saying, I think it's a misleading piece.
There's no point in
Whatever you want to do, but I mean, just saying no implies that they've met and nobody's been bothered to send a report in. But actually, the truth of this is probably half these haven't met.
Yep, that's true. Okay. So we'll get that adjusted for the next meeting. Has anyone else got a report to give or any comments on those that they've received?
Do we need to do anything about Sheila stepping down?
Yes.
That's next item on the agenda. Yeah, do that. Right, okay, then we'll move on to item 10B, which is to note that Mrs. Sheila Flower has resigned as the Town Council's representative to the Poorlands Charity, and for the Council to consider appointing a replacement to serve until 2028. Do we have any nominations for a replacement, or any councillor who wishes to put themselves forward?
I'm not proposing I'll put myself forward, but can we ask the town clerk how many members of this council are actually on the Poorlands Charity? Because the last time I attended a meeting there, there was about 4 or 5 town councillors actually stood as a trustee in that particular body, and I think it's a bit excessive actually. Just to know, I don't know how many people, but I know Mary does, Sheila did, I remember Kay Gilder does.
And Charles.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Charles Bay. So we all went very well represented on that particular charity. I don't believe this council needs to appoint any more people.
Mary Kay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Right.
I'm volunteering, but in light of Sheila Flower's sterling work over many, many years, could I suggest that the Town Council writes a letter of thanks to her for all her efforts?
That's a great
idea.
Years. 20 years, yeah.
So just to say thank you, she's been an amazing citizen of Woodley over the years.
Right. Right, okay. No nominations?
Well, I'm inclined to agree with Darren. I don't think we need
Good
a
that.
nomination. I don't know how many trustees are in total.
On their committee, I think 20 or something like that. It's
Well,
excessively large.
It's huge for
It's a
some.
lot.
so-
It's a lot. Well, maybe not 20,
But-
maybe
but
15,
it's
12 or something,
representation.
but it's a lot.
Okay, go for a vote on that.
12,
Yep.
they should be just.
Right, okay. Well, I can see the popular opinion here. So I'm going to put a proposal that this council votes that no replacement is found for Mrs. Sheila Flower, and that no additional nominations will be made.
Because we believe our representation is
Sufficient, yes.
Okay.
I think just a word of caution, because not us asking for 4 reps, it's the trustee asking for 4 reps. So if I'm sure the trustees are going to have some articles of association or something, some framework that we, I don't think we have the power to modify that. I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you're not going to get someone. So you're not going to have 4. Now, we're lucky we've got 3. Probably that will drop whatever. So I don't actually think we need to do anything. And who knows, in 2027, a new council may come on who actually is absolutely committed to that sort of organisation. And why should we try and stop that? So my recommendation would be just
Leave it vacant.
it's not the first time. We've had plenty of times where slots on outside of organisations are not filled. No problem with me. I'm sure it's no problem with anybody else.
Right. Okay, yes, I agree with that. So we'll confirm that the place will remain vacant. Kevin, please. Right, item 11 on the agenda are the town mayor's engagements. Of myself and Councillors Darren Smith, the deputy. 2 things I would say about my engagements. Firstly, can I congratulate you, Carol, as Mayor of Wokingham Borough. The Children's Carol concert was absolutely fantastic, and a lot of work and effort obviously went into that, and perhaps you will portray my gratitude for a lovely evening. Okay. The second one, I would, the last one there, the 25th of January, I had a sudden email inviting me to go down to Kick Twist cheerleading, who I gave an award to last year following their success in Florida. It was frightening to see young girls twisting mid-air and being caught by young girls even smaller than those twisting in the air. It was literally frightening. But it was a prelude. There were 150 parents and grandparents there, and little old me. And it was a magnificent evening. It was a prelude to their first competitions, and their first competitions were up in Loughborough Regional Championships last week. And at the weekend, I had an email from Kelsey Hudson, who literally organises it all. Every team they entered in the regional final won. And the senior team were actually announced as the judges' favourite presentation and the highest marks scored in their presentation. So they became supreme champions of that tournament. I have replied to them, congratulating the girls. Magnificent performance. But Darren, did you want to say anything about?
Just a brief comment to add to yours. Thank you, Mayor. To say that I attended the early Mayor Festival yesterday up at Bradstock. An enjoyable evening. I saw Carol there. Nice to see you, Carol. It was nice to see other people that I knew there as well. And it was well attended. And I'm planning to go tomorrow. I think it's the Bournemouth Bake Off.
Yeah, Bournemouth Bake Off.
Was it?
It's School Cluster Bake Off, which is held up at Bournemouth.
Tomorrow, so I'll be going with the Mayor and also with Councillor Keith Baker for that. So I am so looking forward to that. I wish I could do more, but I work. But it's great that I have the opportunity to do these things.
This is the function of the year when we all put on £5 or £6 in weight. Keith.
That very topic, the Bake Off. Sorry. She said, I'm going to be one of the judges. This will be the last time. I've done it like 6 years in a row. And if you like cake, it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm saying this because there's going to be a vacancy for next year. All right? The cakes are unbelievable. They're tasty, etc. Because you get to taste them. You can't judge a cake without tasting it. The teamwork of the children is a sight to behold. It's so refreshing. The way they work together, the design work, the what they do, the practicing and everything like that. It is an amazing, amazing event. So I'm advertising a vacancy. If you like it, looking at you, Greg, looks like you like cake. Like me. That's going to be free. If you're really, really interested, I'm quite happy to pass your name on tomorrow.
Right. Right, move on to item 12, which is future. Oh, sorry, did you want to? You want us to bring some cake back, don't you? Well, with regards to the quiz, there are 8 tickets left.
Oh, well done.
So we've sold 102 tickets. Right, moving on to item 12 on the agenda, future agenda items. Does anyone have any items that they wish to be included in a future agenda? No. Right, item 13A is to note the press releases issued by the council since the last full council, with these provided at Appendix 13 on page 117 of the agenda. As that's working together to tackle antisocial behaviour. Dates confirmed for new Woodley to Reading walking and cycling route, and put your knowledge to the test at the Mayor's Charity Quiz Night, which is 2 weeks off. Item 13B is publicity and website. Does anybody have any items they wish to be publicised? Jen?
It's not so much an item to be publicised, just on the whole publicity thing. At a meeting of the PR and marketing subcommittee a little while ago, we've talked about the idea of putting up a kind of council stall at events, and for the Woodley Extravaganza, officers very kindly set that up, and it was it was a horrible day. I don't know whether you remember the Extravaganza. Came down in sheets, but Kay and I attended it as councillors, and we also had a sort of survey thing around sort of the what we spend our money on in the council and so forth that Matthew had provided, and we talked to 40 odd members of the public who actually took the time to fill that in. Anuska had arranged an activity for the children, which was absolutely brilliant because they sat down. Of course, their parents are at a loose end, and it was a really good way to, interact with our residents. And I would recommend that we do it again because it was just very immediate, and people were very open and keen to talk to us. So thanks to the officers for that.
Again, can we get, because extravaganza was what, months ago now?
2 months ago.
Can we get that survey, Kevin, please? It's no good doing it if there's only 2 or 3 people know it. It needs to be.
To be honest, we've got form on that, haven't we? Because we did do an online survey asking people how much they think we should put the precept up, and 58% of people said we should either not put it up at all, reduce it, or give us an increase less than inflation. And what have we done? We put it up 10%. So I wouldn't shoot about it. I think we need to learn about
how to deal with response to that. It was an agenda item, and it was discussed and debated. It was factored into the.
Yeah,
what you're talking about is 2 councillors, you and Kay, know about. You brought it here. That's great. If you hadn't, I would have had no idea. And none of the other 23 councillors will. What I'm saying is that should be.
Point of information, you did all know about it because there was a mail went out asking people to volunteer to take part in it. So
I'm talking specifically.
Yeah, but that was all included in it. So
Was
yeah. This was supposed to be a bit of good news, and I just think it was worthwhile, and I think that's something that we need to kind of address as part of the strategy sort of task group, because we kind of have to learn, how to do all this stuff and how to make it meaningful. Yeah, but
Was it an existing survey, June?
No, it was all to do. It was actually, without raking it all up, when we first talked about communicating with residents, if you remember, about the precept and what have you, we said we were going to ask maximum of 5 questions, blah blah blah. What we actually asked people was 1 question.
Right, the original 5.
And it was some of the other things. And so it was like, which I think just from memory, it was a whole list of stuff town council does. It's, which ones you value, what we'd like to see more of, and then comments. Yeah. So it was
Well,
very good.
if that can be given to Kevin, then it can be circulated. Okay. Right, thank you. Right, we move on to final item, which is item 14, which is to consider any requests for questions to be raised on behalf of the Town Council at a relevant Wokingham Borough Council meeting. Now, this is a new agenda item, but as a reminder, questions can't be submitted for meetings at Wokingham Borough Council's Planning Committee. Has anyone handed any questions to you, Kevin?
None received, Chair.
No. Under the protocol, I believe I'm right in saying there's only 1 meeting now left for questions this year in this current governing year to May.
There's a full council on later in February, but of course there are still I'm not sure there are any.
I didn't think there was an option for any more questions after this one.
Yeah, then, each of the scrutiny committees will have at least 1 meeting, and town councils are welcome to meet.
Any questions given have to be with Wokingham Borough 7 days before, I think, and we need them 7 days.
Submitted to myself.
To myself. So this really is a future agenda item that will come on the end of every agenda from now on. So if you have any questions that you would like the Town Council to ask Wokingham Borough, please prepare them and let Kevin have them at least 7 days before the Town Council meeting.
For this meeting?
Before this meeting.
Why?
That was the protocol agreed by full council last time. which is now in the standing orders, so that there's a process.
This is for Wokingham Borough Council. I'm asking the question of Wokingham Borough.
Borough, yes, but it's coming through the town council, so it's actually the town council that are asking the question of Wokingham Borough on your behalf.
Okay.
So we need it 7 days beforehand.
Fine.
To actually put it forward.
Fine.
Okay.
Juliet, if you could ask him.
Councillor Smith.
Yeah, just to clarify then, so we have to, so just to clarify on item 14, in order to have an input into that agenda item, us as town councillors have to approach Kevin 7 days before our full council meeting with a request.
Yeah.
For a question to be put to both the borough council. Is that
Yes, I can recirculate
The protocol that was approved, that's helpful.
And then what will that do? That will trigger us debating it here?
You'll have a debate on the wording of
That question and approve it for submission to Wokingham Borough.
Okay, Councillor Jewell.
That seems to be a procedure that will actually delay an awful lot of things happening, questions that come up, because they're going to be topical questions. I would have thought that the best idea would be that we could circulate questions for people to, if they want to ask them, then they can, can be agreed, not waiting for the council. Because if you miss one, you've got another 6 weeks, then you've missed something else at Wokingham. If there's a question that's is topical, it needs to be asked straight away.
Councillor Baker.
I think this whole business of town and parish, or the 17 parish councils, asking a question from the town council, not from individuals, in a slot that will allow one question only, because it's a very restricted time slot, and you have 3 minutes to speak. There's a 2 or 3 minutes, from memory, it's a 1.5-minute response. You have a right to go back. You've blown the time. If you're lucky, you'll get 2 questions. If any councillor here has a burning question, they should damn well do it in their own right. There's plenty of opportunity. It's much wider for residents to ask questions. I do not understand why a borough council brought this in, because I think it's an absolute waste of time. Because any individual councillors, you have your own option.
And I think maybe question is the wrong. I get bent out of shape of all this political stuff. It's not a question. I have a query. I will talk to Carol. It's fine.
Kevin, you wanted to make a comment?
Just if it's helpful, that whole issue was about formal questions to be asked at borough council meetings. If any member's got a question, you can of course ask them yourselves, and through committee process, I can ask questions formally of the council to be reported back to committees at any time.
Right. So, at 9:30, I can now call this meeting to a close. Thank you everyone for attending.